Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Very Spooky Movies. My name is Daniel King. It's going to be big time spooking. With me in the studio today is Mr. Doug Wicker.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
Back again. I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Trying to get that microphone level right
Nice.
for you. Am I good? Am I too high?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
it actually seems like you're coming in pretty good.
It was kind of far back because there was a spooky spider on my end.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to I was doing a bit, so I put a spider on my end and then slapped it off. It was a gag. It was not funny, but I did do
I
it.
put the spider on mine, forgot that I had it there, and I pushed it back.
Yeah, I'm going to put
And
mine on
now
there
I'm
also.
bringing him back. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
That's good.
Because it
Or mine
actually
keeps you in the spirit.
Yeah, well, there's a chance that we'll come in here for the second half of the show, be halfway through it, and it will scare me. Because I'm not crazy about spiders. I've got over my irrational fear of them.
Yeah.
Like, if I see a wolf spider, I can just pick it up.
Really?
Put it in my hands.
That's more than most people.
And put it outside.
Yep. I don't try to kill them, but
Yeah, like
There's a
those
handful
those little adorable jumping spiders, like the little super furry ones. You know, we'll let them crawl all over me. I don't care. They don't bother me.
Yeah.
But man, the ones that are like booking ass across the ground, nah. I don't care what kind it is.
That's really the two.
It's too aggressive. Just if it ran away, I wouldn't like attack them and not like them.
Recluse and widow. If you're in my home, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, sorry
about your luck.
And that's what we have locally where we're at. We have a lot of brown recluses or recluse, or I've heard it pronounced
Pretty certain it's recluse.
I've heard them pronounced a myriad of ways. You like that?
It's gonna be the pronunciation episode.
Yeah, that's the one.
Pronunciation,
it's
not
actually the
pronunciation.
Yeah. So you get it if you've never tuned into the show. We watch two movies. We watch a good one. We watch a bad one. They have something in common, but we'll have a couple of drinks and take a big shit on the bad one, or just talk about how much we loved it, which is also a thing. That's what we're striving for: is the best bad movies and the best good movies.
You're doing the Lord's work. You're curating the best bad movies.
I'm telling you, man. We have, because I love kind of like schlocky cinema.
Yeah,
and for somebody else out there who loves schlocky cinema, I have gone through a few that I could be like, don't worry about that one, bro.
Yeah, there's a few,
or broette, whatever.
As we talked about, for me, a bad movie that fails to entertain you is not worth your time.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we're trying to kind of rule out. So, Doug, this was your pick for the movie. We're doing our Halloween special, The Ween. We're doing only spookies, only spookies on the Ween. That's the...
Sounds like a Pauly Shore gig.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, it is. So just the spookies on the Ween.
We's the Ween, buddy.
So, this one was your pick, and what'd you go with?
As is tradition for me, when I'm on this podcast, I like to pair our movies. I like to know that something connects them beyond a little bit.
You put a little extra effort.
A little extra work on it, yeah.
You put way more work into it than anybody else who's ever on the show,
past, it's like I
included.
think about things that are a little more than peripheral. Like I want some connective tissue.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I went, for our special Ween episode, I decided I wanted to do possessions. But of course, there's, The Exorcist. There's so many amazing possession movies. I figured, let's do something a little more modern and shake it up by contrasting with something a little older that just happens to be shitty.
Yeah.
And so, I went with Hereditary, which is a pretty divisive film. I know people who love it. I know people who watched it once, loved it, never want to watch it again. And then I know people who watched it once and hated it. And then
I was close to that camp.
Yeah.
There were some things I really, really liked about it.
Yeah.
But I think what fucked it up for me on my first watch, having watched it a second time, I did enjoy it way more.
Yeah.
On my initial watch, though, I think I just had it hyped up so much that I was expecting a like absolutely fucking terrifying.
Every scene's
You know
got
what I
a
mean?
spook
Like,
in it.
I expected to actually to experience fear while watching
Yeah.
it. Because there are some scary movies that genuinely scare me.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I think, you know, it's like, getting tickled. It's got that
it's
kind of reaction.
a little bit, like a little
bit of,
moved by it in a way that,
yeah.
a grown man doesn't normally get moved.
We're doing inward jazz fingers.
Mm.
No, it's fun though. But I think on my first watch, it was just way.
It's not, it's just not a jump scare movie. It's not a,
not
a haunted house movie.
Well,
it's not the kind of like you go front to back.
Yeah.
I got to scare every 15 minutes. It's not built like that. Yeah. It's a much slower movie.
I hadn't seen a trailer. I'd seen a couple of people like tweet about it or post about it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And one or two of my friends was like, oh man, it's scary. It's like, it's super scary. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
And I took that as meaning it was like an exciting, fast-paced film. So when I sat down and watched a slow burn psychological horror.
Yes.
When I sat down and watched a slow burn psychological horror, it was so far outside of what I was expecting it to be that I wasn't prepared to like really dig in. And, I was probably like fucking off doing other stuff also at the same time.
Isn't it the weirdest thing about when you talk about a movie with somebody that, so especially for me when I don't know someone's taste super well, and you have, you're talking to them and they're like, well, have you seen this movie? And they kind of pitch you the concept or like their interpretation or feeling of it. And it's like, it's so strange how it can be really case dependent about who you're talking to.
Yeah.
About the movie.
Yeah. That's
like
very
once you
true.
know someone's language, the things they're into, you could really get in there and be like, yeah, this movie's for you because I 100% understand like your shit.
Right.
Like I get your taste. Like
Yeah,
I got a couple friends that like, unfortunately run things that sell things that I like, and they know exactly what I want. When they get it in, they go, hey buddy, got your number. But like there's a handful of friends that's like, they get me and I get them. And you go, okay, so like, this shit's for you. Like, this is way up your alley.
Yeah.
But when you got that casual fan that, kind of likes some movies and shit, and they come and they tell you, oh man, this is the scariest shit I've ever seen, or this is the, whatever, this movie scared me as a kid. And their taste is like, you don't really know it. You don't know what they're into or what they're not into.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if your friend was like someone you weren't every day talking about movies with.
I think the one person that I really remember talking to about it, like talking face to face and having a conversation about it, being like, is this worth me to check out?
Yeah.
Is more of a casual movie fan.
Yeah.
And was like it's got really good acting in it, but it's not, I didn't think it was very scary or interesting. So knowing that person, I was probably like, I probably should have assumed, I don't know, man. It's weird to figure out. It's weird to figure out how to go into a movie. I can't go into all of them the same. Just can't do it.
There's movies where I sat down to watch the movie and, my head's not in the space for it. You watch you watch it and you're like, just not fucking into it. Like, it's just not, you're not vibing with it.
And it's a thing you would like, though.
Yeah.
And
then you come back around and you're in the right space for it. There's been times I walked out of movies not liking them, and the more I thought about them, I was like, you know what? No, man. It's like maybe just think I wasn't in the right spot for that shit,
So if you're curious, Hereditary is a 2018 horror drama. I think it's like a horror. I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a horror. It is horror.
It's pretty horror, yeah.
Anyway, it's got a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 89% Rotten Tomatoes, 87% on Metacritic, 74% of Google users liked this movie. Release date June 8th, again of 2018, directed by Ari Aster, starring Toni Collette, Alex Wolff, Millie Shapiro, and Dowd, Gabriel Byrne. Byrne? B-Y-R-N-E.
Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel Byrne. I got it. I got there.
I got there. Worked it out. You were getting there.
Music by Colin Stenson. Excuse me. Box office $80.2 million. And I didn't get the budget. Let me. It says a budget $10 million. Yeah.
Pretty good return.
No, that's
especially I think it was started
great.
as a limited and rolled out kind of thing.
Because I'm really happy that this movie made a lot of money, because it was the sort of thing that like the longer the longer it sits in the ethos, eventually people that'll be like, I don't know, did I like that? I'm looking for movies and be like, I don't know, I saw it like 12 years ago. I don't really remember what it's about. We'll put it on. And then they'll be like, holy shit, that's a fucking great movie.
Yeah.
And it'll wind up being a hidden gem in 10 years.
Well, we talked about trailers right before we went on the air and how certain companies just want to give you everything in the trailer that we don't have to think about whether or not you like the movie because it's there. All of it's there. Yeah. I think A24 is, with the exception of It Comes at Night, because I really took issue with their marketing for that.
Oh, yeah. Because It Comes at Night is a really... Yeah.
It was a great campaign, not for that movie.
No. And I really like It Comes at Night.
I did like that movie, yes. But, I did like it. But the marketing campaign and the trailers and everything leading up to the film represented a completely different movie.
I hadn't seen a trailer. I watched the movie before I saw a trailer. Yeah. And then I came across the trailer and I'm like, what the what? Mm-hmm. I was like, that's not even close.
But generally, I feel like
I looked to see it was like official trailer, and I was like, "What's It seems like a pedestrian, like somebody was like
some creatures in the woods, or very much led you to believe a different
slasher
type of
monster.
Movie. Yeah. But otherwise, I'd say their marketing's usually really on point.
So, man, on my second watch, I gotta say, I had a really fun time with this. I liked it a lot. I don't necessarily take issue with the ending. I just wish it was a little more interesting.
Yeah. I'll give you that aspect of it where I feel like it's a very logical sound ending.
It wasn't bad, but the movie goes... it's like the best round of a thing you ever had, and then you get to the very end of the round and it's just...
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I feel like
it's not flat. It's not disappointing. It actually works really well. Yeah. I wish it was more interesting.
You wish it were a better version of what it is.
Yeah, I wish it were more interesting than that.
And it's like, I'm not the one to offer what a better version of that would be, but it's like, it's definitely, it's like, I couldn't even imagine trying to you write that movie.
Yeah.
If you get to that third act.
If you were to get a bunch of writers at a table, I would say rework that bit.
Yeah, I would say spend a lot of time.
Rework it 25 times and we'll take a look at those 25.
Because a good 2/3 of that movie is really original and really goes paths and directions that are really unexpected and keeps you guessing.
So I'm going to fire off a couple of notes and then we'll just kind of interject whenever you want. But I do have quite a bit of notes for this. Like the opening with the pan into the craft room. You're in a craft room, the camera pans into a dollhouse, into the window of a dollhouse. Inside the window of the dollhouse is the same room that the camera was originally in. It continues to pan in through the window to the next dollhouse, and that becomes the atmosphere in which you're at. And I thought this was fucking really great. This is
so cool, yeah.
Really great. I was immediately
What'd you take away from that sequence? Like, what was your interpretation of that choice?
Well,
because the movie's not really full of that kind of visuals.
I suppose in retrospect... It had to have been done deliberately, not just like, hey, this would be neat.
This is cool. Yeah,
I think it was done deliberately. So maybe it's.
I have a take on it
from the perspective of the thing. Like these are the dimensions and holes and whatever, and that's why it's Hereditary, is because it goes from. We'll get to that. That's hella spoiler. We're going full tilt spoiler.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what this movie's about really quickly.
Yes, please do.
There's a family. So you got your mom, you got dad. You got son and you got daughter. And the daughter, you can just tell she's off. She's real creepy and she's got ticks. She
lots of the weird ticks. Yeah, weird obsessions.
Yeah, she's just into dead critters and shit. She's creepy. She's a fucking creepy little girl. So Toni Collette's mom dies and she's given a eulogy. The eulogy was pretty savage,
pretty charged. Eulogy.
It was a pretty charged eulogy. Going through her dead mom's stuff when she's back at the house. So mom's dead. She's going through her shit or whatever. And they show a little minifigure with a titty out. Isn't that weird? That still, because I made a note of it, but even still going back and thinking about it, I'm like, what a weird, it's weird that's in, why does there's a little hand-carved wooden miniature
version of her mom with a titty
out. Of her mom with her, moo-moo open with her titty out.
I kind of always picked that up as being an implication that the mom, her overreaching as a mom. And that, it's, I think, if I might recall, it's implied that she, breastfed her grandkids. Could be wrong. But there's definitely this overreaching of her maternal instinct.
Breastfed her grandkid. Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, and I just cut that part because I feel like that's completely baseless. I can't remember. I think it's an implication, but
that might have been a thing. I'll be honest with you. Our nephew, our little, he's a little tiny guy. He's very up in all your shit.
Yeah.
He's very sweet and very funny, but he's
he's
dialed to 11. No, not breast milk. I'm not saying he's up. No, I mean like he's up in your physical shit. He'd be like, what kind of phone you got? With sticky little fingers. Let me touch it.
Yeah, what's
like,
that?
We'll just reach for it and go for it.
Oh wow, yeah.
How
old is he?
I don't know. He's pretty small.
Oh, little dude. Okay.
Anyway, he we were keeping him, and I was trying to watch this movie, so I very well may have missed that in some dialogue.
I might have imagined it. That's kind of what I've watched a lot of weird shit in the last couple of weeks, and so I'm thinking I might have.
We'll cut it off.
Yeah, like I feel like it's pretty baseless. Anyway, go ahead.
You you get a great bit with the creepy girl cutting the head off a bird.
Wonderful bit.
With a pair of scissors.
Yes. Outside of school.
Super gross, man.
Yeah. With like those really dull children's scissors.
It's got these other things I really like though. There's the bit where there's kind of a heartfelt scene with her at the Toni Collette at the losing a loved one meeting, and she reveals her mom like had dissociative identity disorder, which previously was called multiple personality disorder, and her brother was schizophrenic. Yeah. So she's like her. That's her Hereditary.
Yeah, one take on the Hereditary title.
Right. Yeah. One of several different ways you could take it. Anyway, Alex Wolff's trying to get laid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to the party. Toni Collette made him take his sister, and because she's like overstressed for her mom being dead or whatever.
Yeah, and I also think it's kind of a way to like keep him in line because he's accountable for her. So it's like he can only get so crazy when he's stuck with his sister.
Yeah, but he, So he does ditch his sister like immediately at this party, and then we'll kind of digress a little bit. I know I'm going through some of it.
You're heading up to like one of those major beats.
We've been chit chatty. Yeah. So Alex Wolff, he gets to the party. He's like, is gonna smoke weed with a girl he likes, and he ditches his sister like instantly. In the door, he walks up to the girl. He's like, "Hey, you want to smoke?" She's like, "Yeah, let's go this way." And he goes and talks to his sister. He's like, "Hey, Charlie."
Bails on the sister.
Go get some cake, bitch.
Go fuck off.
They got cake over there. Just go fuck off for like 30 minutes. I'll be right back.
Let me take care of business.
Yep. And she has some sort of nut allergy. I guess just any nut.
Yeah. Eats like a walnut cake or something.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's like a walnut cake. So she starts going into anaphylaxis. She comes and gets her brother. He's, smoking weed. She's like, my throat's getting bigger. He fucking picks her up. He's driving fucking 95 miles an hour or whatever. Yeah, he's cruising down the highway.
Man, one of the greatest suspense building scenes I've ever seen.
She cannot breathe.
Yep, you're cutting between him stressed out, him driving,
and her
choking in the back seat, and it's cross-cutting, even though it's taking place in the same scene. That's using cross-cutting effect to like. You feel the pendulum swinging and the rope tightening with every beat. Like that tension just keeps ratcheting up because you just see her like dying. And you see him like knowing what's happened.
She wants to live, damn it.
Yeah.
So she rolls down the window and sticks her head out the window to like force air down her throat so she can breathe. And telephone pole. Decapitated in one of the most like
unexpected fucking
that's
scenes.
Like one of the tightest breaking points in a film I may have ever seen on my rewatch, and I don't think I caught that the first time I ever watched it.
Like, you didn't catch that part?
That seemed new to me. Maybe I got up to piss. I don't know,
dude.
Maybe I was getting a drink out of the fridge. But I clearly just missed that.
Yes. And I mean, like for you, after you watched it and you saw that scene, I mean, I know the first time I saw that movie, the next like 2 or 3 scenes following, I kept waiting for it to be like a nightmare,
right,
or a dream, or there to be some kind of like like turning the page backward. But instead, it's that classic playbook to do something real shocking up front, so that the rest of the movie's not safe. Like you don't know where it can go because you've seen it already go somewhere really unexpected.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that scene, I mean, of course that's the scene that fucks everybody up when they watch that movie. However,
and then
did you catch on his way to the party, he passes that telephone pole?
I did not.
And if you look, there's a pieman fucking...
A what?
Like pieman, the dark the spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's his symbols on that pole.
Oh, that's creepy as
Yeah,
fuck.
so it's like, it was like the whole thing. I mean, yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so you get a great scene that he, like, just kind of goes home, and you can tell he's like, fuck, just murdered my sister. Like, he just goes home.
Yeah, lays in
Doesn't go
bed.
anywhere else, leaves her in the car.
Fucking Colette's response to that scene deserved an Oscar. Like,
yeah.
I know it's not. I mean, I know that's what people throw around when they don't understand the Oscars. I'm being, like, pedantic here, but it, you know, she's just, her performance is so fucking real and grounded. It's how someone would expect if they walked up on a car with their, like, decapitated kid in the back.
Oh, my God.
Like, you didn't bother cleaning it up, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he was in a fucking zombie state, just walks in and goes straight to the bedroom.
Yeah, and they use that, like, very nonchalant, like, kind of Chekhov's gun, if Chekhov's gun was tree nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they're, like, right up top. They're like, that doesn't have nuts in it, does it? No, there's no nuts in that. Okay, you can have it. And then the cake with the nuts, you know? Cake with nuts.
All because she wasn't supervised.
Oh, man.
But, Toni Collette, if you'd not sent her to that party in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
playing that game.
You dirty.
That's some, like, 10-year-old shit on their mind.
Yeah. No shit, yeah. She, like, so you get these awesome little cutscenes in the middle of the movie where all this other shit's going on, and then, like, the husband will walk in on Toni Collette, and he's like, hey... he's like checking. She paints miniatures, like mini models, for a living. Like that's what she does professionally. And she's got these deadlines to meet. But as time passes, she keeps making these creepy fucking models. Just creepy models of like her mom with her titty out, like creeping over their bed and like standing in their doorway while they're sleeping and shit. And there's one of the actual murder scene with the fucking severed head on the ground. It is super fucked up.
Totally lost your shit.
Oh, she's gone.
Fucking
dude.
out there.
She's like, this is an accurate representation of the crime scene, not a, I'm not, it's fine.
Not morbidly like obsessed with like this horrible death.
I really like that a lot. I like the way that it panned into each scene, and I think it helps the end come to fruition. Is there a better way to do it? Maybe. I didn't dislike it. But because it comes to the ending, and I'm like, that it just was flat for the rest of the movie for me. The rest of it's fucking balls to the wall.
Yeah, it goes completely off.
I say balls to the wall. This is a really slow burn.
It is, but that last probably 30 minutes is just completely fucking insane. Like, it doesn't let up.
Nope.
Like, yeah.
No, yeah, the last half hour of it is fucking pretty crazy. So the scene at the dinner table is what I want to talk about. When they're all sitting down at the dinner table, there's this weird, like, tension.
Oh, yeah.
Super weird. I mean, I guess it's not weird. It's pretty fucking understandable.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shitload of resentment.
Right. So the mom, Toni Collette, is resenting Alex Wolff because she thinks that his negligence murdered her baby.
Yeah.
And Alex Wolff thinks that she would have never been in the car with him would Toni Collette have not forced her to go. Because the girl didn't want to go.
So the two of them are already...
Yeah, they're already kind of
putting that shit on each other, yeah.
A little on the outs, you know? Inside of you, there are two ghosts.
Yeah.
So, this fucking scene at the dinner table, all this fucking resentment, they all start firing across at each other, and I'm like, faux real edge of my seat. Like, was watching, I was like, my God, this is good. It was like, this is like nasty, edge of your seat. I actually am on the edge of my seat. Like, I looked, I was like, holy shit. No, I was very, very much into this dinner table scene because, man, it's got a really gripping tension, and it also feels very real.
Yeah.
Like, you ever gone over to your friend's house when you were a kid and that kind of shit happened at the dinner table?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll get in a fight and you're stuck there watching it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that part feels like. Yeah.
Right.
You're sitting there like witnessing a family fight that you're like, hey man, I'm going to go play Xbox.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys figure out.
The chicken's really good, Mrs. B.
Yeah. Can I call my mom? Like whatever you can do to get out of that shit. No, absolutely. Yeah, and then ultimately is with her being like, I never wanted you to be born or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. It's like
one time she's like, I never wanted to be your mother.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I never wanted to be your mother. And like, and then it's like that moment where she's like, oh my God,
can't believe I said that.
Yeah, the shit was like, fuck, that's the meanest shit. Like, yeah.
So the great part about this is the psychological problems of the various people in the family faced with these two tragedies back to back that actually have a family history of mental illness.
Mm-hmm. And the only fucking like adjusted person in the movie is Gabriel Byrne.
Dude, Gabriel Byrne, I even wrote in here, I was like, poor old dad.
Like, poor dad, man. It's like his kids are all fucking crazy and wild, and his wife's wild, and he's just trying to like get by. He's just like going to work and paying his bills.
Right. He is just man, he's just trying to make it happen, and he is having a hell of a time.
It's like, honey, work on any of your dollhouses today? The kids go to school. Her taxes are due.
So Toni Collette, she like goes and talks to a friend from her dealing with family loss help group or whatever. And this lady's like, oh shit, got to do a seance, Toni Collette. Mm-hmm. Toni Collette's like, you're probably right. But that's a great idea.
But there's a good sense of not believing in it, too.
Oh, she's very skeptic.
Yeah.
Of course, which is what gives it any tension. Because if she was into it, she's like, girl, yes, it wouldn't be.
Let's cleanse this shit. And she'd be like, wait a second. This isn't that fucking spell you're doing, motherfucker.
Right. The Sagittarius moon or whatever, whatever kind of shit.
The age of Aquarius.
Yeah. Whatever. Mercury's in retrograde and all that great stuff.
Yeah, she knew all that shit. She probably wouldn't fall for what happens next.
Toni Collette does a seance. Have you ever done a seance or been a party to a seance?
You know what? No, never. I can't say I might have been a party to watching one.
We're getting spooky. We're getting spooky.
It's a little spooky. I don't know that.
It's the wing.
I know myself. I've never done one.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up because I don't. There's this part of me that doesn't believe Ouija boards themselves are the thing.
Right.
I think there's definitely like my whole life I've been obsessed with like talismanic things. Mm. Not so much the item, but the belief in that item.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's like take voodoo dolls, right?
Yeah. The fiction to the item.
Yeah. You make a voodoo doll, and it by itself is nothing. Yeah. But it's not till you instill it with the belief of what it's supposed to be. And
Over
you put
several generations.
Yeah, and you're talking about a lot of work that goes into like making that item cursed or blessed or whatever the fuck you want to call these things. Like, but it takes a lot of effort and like emotional output and, like just whatever juju and shit. But yeah, it's a fucking thing. So yeah, I've never really looked at Ouija boards as being like, wow, I don't want that at my house.
Oh, right.
In fact, one of the gnarliest fucking Ouija boards I've ever seen is currently in my closet. Might explain all my bad luck, but it's been in there for 5 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We ordered it for a short I was doing. And it was made in Turkey, in Istanbul.
Gross.
And it has...
Not the location, I mean the meat, folks.
Yeah, and it's got Baphomet in the middle.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the most fucking metal like Ouija board I've ever seen, but it doesn't have a goodbye on it. So everyone I know that's like super into Ouija boards are like fucking freaked out by it because you can't close the board.
You can't close it.
Yeah, once you're done, there's no way to like wrap up what you're doing. So like I don't ever fuck with it, but it exists.
That's fucking great, man. The scene where they do the seance, it's like it's done really well. Like I like the way that it's all done. The gal that is Toni Collette's new friend from the fucking thing is played by
Ann Dowd.
Was that Ann Dowd?
Yeah.
Oh wow, she's lost a bunch of weight. Yeah, that is Ann Dowd. She looks great. She has.
Yeah. Looking good.
Whatever her latest headshot is, I just didn't recognize her. Yep, sure enough. So Ann Dowd,
she's a chameleon. I was like,
is that her? Is
she is a chameleon. Oh,
like, okay.
You go look up some shit she's been in, you're like, what the fuck? And they keep going, like, what the fuck?
It's like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie's in all kinds of shit.
Go pre-fucking Marvel. That motherfucker is in stuff. And you're just like, wait a second, Anthony Mackie.
Uh-huh.
You were that guy? I remember you.
Mm-hmm. So the creepy tongue clicking, Alex Wolff is like hearing he's like hearing his sister's thing. You have that great scene where it's the scene. If you ever see anything for Hereditary and somebody's got like, you know, a little video attached to it or whatever, it's always the scene of Alex Wolff in school.
Yeah. Where his hand shoots up in the air and it's like all
he's
fucked
like,
up.
it looks like he's having a stroke and he slams his head on the table and starts screaming.
Yeah. And meanwhile, everyone in the
nose.
fucking class is like, okay.
Right. I love the way it's like you see all the kids behind him and stuff, and they see his arm all twisted up in the air, and then he smashes his head and jumps backwards. And when he jumps backwards, those whole 3 back rows are empty. Like everybody just got up and got out of the way.
And I love how that sequence is presented almost dreamlike. It's got nightmare logic to it with like the way it's cut. It doesn't feel linear. It doesn't feel like it's playing in real time. It feels like it's almost like it's in his head. He's imagining it happening. Mm-hmm. But then again, it's another case where you get that feeling, but instead what you get instead is, you know, the reality. Like it actually is happening. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Toni Collette finds out that her friend from the thing, from the losing a loved one meeting or whatever, was best BFFs with her recently deceased mother.
But somehow didn't know who she was.
Right.
That's pretty funny.
Pretty
weird.
Yeah, pretty fucking strange.
Pretty
so she's like,
fucking convenient.
Pretty fucking convenient. She approaches her husband about it, and I
and he's like, "Can't you see I'm trying to fucking work?"
He's like, I just want you guys to be okay.
I just cut the fucking grass. Like, I'm gonna grill tonight. Can you leave me alone?
There's definitely a section of this movie though where you can't tell if there's a spooker. Yeah. Or if Toni Collette's just insane.
Yeah, no, they fuck with it for a while, and it's like it is definitely one of those movies on a rewatch you take for granted where it's going.
Yeah,
as opposed to on that first watch you do question, because there is a lot of questioning of her mental health, questioning of the family's legacy with mental health issues, and whether or not what's happening is real or imagined, which doesn't. I think is further aided by all these, like we talked about, nightmare logic sequences of, you know, Alex Wolff in school, you know, the death of Charlie, his sister. Those moments, the way they're cut and presented to you are presented in such unconventional ways that you kind of question whether or not they're actually happening.
Right. Yeah.
And then so, you know, like in it, if you're riding along for the first time and you're saying like, oh, this is, you know, well, has she lost her mind? Is she going through something? You know, is she, you know, through some kind of episode? And, you know, up to this point, even the seance stuff, you kind of start to wonder if like maybe she's like something's not right with her. Yeah. You know? And so yeah, from that point forward, it's like the movie really shifts gears. Like you said, it plays with you. Maybe she's crazy or maybe it's supernatural.
And then it's definitely supernatural, but also she's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's not either or. It's actually both. Twist.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So there's a bit. I have really mixed feelings about jump scares. You know what I mean? There's like maybe 2 in this.
When they're good, I don't get mad. Like when you build up to it, you're really like, you know, you're massaging the audience. And sometimes it's bad and
they still get me, and that's what makes me more mad. I'm like, cheapskate.
Well, I think in a lot of people, especially these days, because jump scare is such a buzzword, I think they don't understand the difference between like a shocking scare or like one that's meant to like, well, essentially make you jump, or what would traditionally be a jump scare, which is, you know, like the original Halloween's got one in it. Whenever Annie Brackett's coming into the house and the fucking cat jumps onto the stove next to her or whatever. Yeah. Completely cheap, like just completely pointless kind of so, you know, like no build up, no tension, no payoff. It's just there to shock you for a second. Yeah. That to me bugs me.
So what? Okay. No, I'm with you on that. So, is this a jump scare or what's the other thing you called it?
I don't remember my words.
Another. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to for this show. It's fine. Or write Doug hate mail at justmovies@gmail.com.
Please send it all.
So there's a bit where there's a creepy boogin. It like scutters across Alex Wolff's bedroom while he's having a nightmare or whatever. So is that a jump scare? Because they like cut to it real fast and it's real scuttery.
You know, I don't remember the scene in that sense. Like I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember how like leading up to that sequence, how it's presented. I'm pretty certain there was some tension in the moment prior to the scare. Yeah. Like it's not just like it's just there. And
it's
there it is.
It's like night terror.
Yeah, because I mean there's like lots of good, like take for instance in John Carpenter's The Thing. absolutely fantastic scare that you can consider a jump scare is the fucking defibrillator sequence. When he's like fucking trying to resurrect dude, and he's like, goes to raise it up, and like when he brings it down to hit him, the fucking chest just opens up, cakes his arms, and cuts, like chews them off.
Oh yeah.
But if you don't see that scene coming, it'll scare the living piss out of you.
Oh right.
So yeah. So I mean, it's like you could still consider that it still qualifies as a jump scare if, like, in essence, it's a shocking jolt kind of moment. I liked some of the effects in this. Like, so there's a scuttering book in Alex Wolf's bedroom. Yeah.
And he gets up and he hears a noise and he goes up into the attic. And then in the attic, there's like Toni Collette hanging herself and also cutting her head off with like a
piano wire.
Piano wire. That
maybe
you get them at Walmart. They're like $4. It's a rope saw. Yeah. Rope saw. You can use it to like cut down small timber and shit.
It's a word for that, isn't there? Garrett?
A garrote.
Oh, garrote. You're right. My bad.
I think that's a different thing. That's for strangling, though.
Yeah, but I thought it was thin. But yeah, it is very much a wire. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's talk about garrotes for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There is a movie. Have you ever seen? I don't like the movie. I actually watched it 3 times because I kind of wanted to like it, and I was like, "This is."
Isn't that the worst when you're trying to see what everyone else is seeing, and you just like, this does not work, and you try 2 or 3 times, but it just doesn't work for you. Lets me down.
What's another word for lawyer?
Attorney.
My attorney. No, another word. My advisor. No. I feel like it starts with an A. Anyway, it's got Michael Fassbender and the guy from No Country for Old Men. God damn it, we did it again. Javier Bardem. It's got him and Michael Fassbender in it. We'll find it. I'll say it when we come back from the break.
Okay.
Anyway, it's fucking awful. But there's a thing where it's like a box and a wire, and you flip the wire around somebody's head, pull it taut, and then just click the button on the box.
Oh.
And it has a motor that will eventually close it all the way.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know.
It seems like something for a movie. Like
it is something like, from a movie.
Because like I mean, in movies you get like some weird ass like things that are designed to only work for killing another human being. Like not it's like in real life. I don't.
No, that's
know
a very specific item. Like that is an item for cutting someone's head off.
Well, it's kind of like the silencer on the shotgun in No Country. You're just like that doesn't exist.
Yeah, no,
but it exists. Now. It does now. Yeah, I remember.
Now.
I'll tell you about that later.
Science fiction.
No, absolutely does
science
exist.
Science fiction is one of the greatest aids to science ever.
You're right.
Because somebody else would be like, could I do that?
When that movie came out, though, it didn't exist. And I remember it being like, okay, like clearly something that exists solely for the sake of, this movie.
Being in this movie.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like was it Missing in Action? When Chuck Norris has the motorcycle with the fucking rocket launcher on the back of it, facing behind him. Like, that shit only exists in movies. That's kind of shit when you're 7, though. Like, I'm going to own one of those one day.
That'd be fucking cool. You know what? You know what's been a dream of mine since I was a child? And I know they don't explode. I know they don't, but I still think it would be awesome. I want to shoot a water tower with an RPG.
Okay.
So that's all I've ever wanted. It can even be one of the little wooden ones.
Okay.
I'd be cool with that. Or
I feel like that's something we could probably try to make happen for you, Danny. I feel like...
I would love that. What if I started a Patreon specifically for that? Like that's the reason for it. We're doing a fundraiser.
It's just 2 movies at patreon.com.
Yeah, that's right.
Make it happen.
So go to Danny, blow up a water tower with an RPG. It's all. It is really all I've ever wanted.
Next episode's Danny going. So you could go to my GoFundMe page.
Right. Just cry about it.
Donate
like I'm dying, making a whole act.
That's your last wish.
Oh my god. That'd be good stuff. So there is a whole bunch of ghosties like hanging dong in the house.
Yeah, and you kind of skipped over one of the raddest parts, which is Gabriel Byrne being like, "Bitch, what the fuck's wrong with you?" And her being like, "Oh, I gotta get this fucking book." Throws it in the fucking fireplace, and Gabriel Byrne just fucking
he gets incinerated, man.
She's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. She comes down just to make more sense of that. Toni Collette comes down. She talks to her husband, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "We have to burn this book." She's like, "But you have to burn it. I can't burn it." And she gives it to him, and he's like, "No, stop.
This is stupid.
Stop."
Because nothing supernatural's happened to him.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm so done with this shit."
Yeah.
And she throws the book in the fire,
And Gabriel.
And Gabriel just fucking...
There it is.
He's immolated just like that.
Yeah.
And, man... He was just trying to enjoy his day off.
It's Saturday, dude. He's going to hang with the boys.
Hashtag weekend probs.
Save Gabriel.
Probably played a little golf earlier that day. Yeah, just tuckered out. Like, wanted a scotch and to read the paper and call it a night.
Have a fucking cigar in his lounge, but his wife fucking just cut that shit short. But yeah, so he goes upstairs and fucking, Tony Collette's hanging from above him, and she saws her own head off.
Sawing her head off. That part's pretty fucking brutal.
And then he's beckoned out to the treehouse behind the house, goes out to it, follows up the ladder into the treehouse to find several decapitated bodies in front of him.
Oh yeah, all laid out in like a prayer position.
Including his mom, including his sister,
mom, and Tony Collette's friend from The Thing.
Yep.
Super fucked up.
Yep.
And
everybody's dead.
It just turns out that Grandma was in a spooker cult, or she was a spooker cult leader, and these people have summoned Paimon, this Lord of Hell or whatever, and bound him to Alex Wolff. And roll credits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming he died falling out the window.
Yeah,
like previously when he's in the attic and she's like sawing off her head and he jumps out the attic window.
You think that killed him?
He lands there and he's there for a while.
Yeah.
I think that killed him. And he's possessed coming up and walking back up to the...
Yeah, you know what? I can take that.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's definitely him receiving his crown, essentially. It's like the crowning of Paimon.
And the crown just looks like they made it out of a...
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like a rubber ball that you get out of a dollar a dollar
like
claw machine.
Some craft sticks and just like these headless corpses made the crown. And they're just like, fucking good enough.
Or
Sam,
they just
there
got
it
something
is.
out of the garbage like next to a kindergarten or something. It's just very weird looking.
Or Charlie made it when she was crafting all of her dead animals.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good if it showed
Well, actually,
her
you know what?
making
That
it.
would make fucking sense. So here's why. Because it's established.
Because it's hereditary. Boom, baby.
Charlie's possessed by Paimon, but he can only truly host a male body. So that's what a good half of that movie is. So upon her death, it releases Paimon to possess Alex Wolff.
Which is that's absolutely true.
Which is part of the seance also that's done, is to help transfer Paimon over.
That's great.
So
that's
it
great,
does
man.
make me wonder if Charlie maybe made that crown. It would make fucking sense because she's crafting and shit, kind of like picking up mom's habits and shit.
Yeah.
Doing her thing.
So I originally was... So I was originally in the mood for like a Halloween. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't that.
No, this was not that.
This is when you're in the mood for like a really deep dig, like psychological thriller.
Something.
It's a psychological
walk
horror,
away.
In my opinion,
changed a little bit.
Yeah. It is extremely powerful and well thought out. And I think when I just originally went into it, that wasn't
the movie you thought you were getting.
I wasn't ready for that.
That's absolutely thing. And it's like
I wasn't dug into that, but I think this is I think this is actually quite good. My really only problem with it is the ending, which I suppose I would give this like an 8.75.
That's a good score.
I like it. As far as horror, it just I just wanted it to be something a
little more traditional horror.
I wouldn't even say traditional, just like more interesting, like. Because I kind of put
it does weigh heavy on the drama.
Together.
It puts the drama ahead of the horror.
Yeah, the more
sure.
Man, and the drama is outstanding.
Yeah, I mean it
really is top
a lot
shelf
of
shit.
Horror filmmakers will tell you that a good horror movie is a drama first, so that you care about the characters when the bad shit's happening to them.
What do you?
But however, I think sometimes there's too much. How many thumbs? How many decapitated bird thumbs?
What would you give it for? Ooh, thumbs that were cut off of a corpse with scissors. Out of 10. Like kids' scissors with the safety guard on them. You
9
know what
out
I'm
of
talking
10.
About? 9 out of 10? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 8.75 severed kindergarten scissor thumbs. I enjoyed this quite a bit. So you think we should do one of these segments now? Because
I want to hang on and coming back to the beginning, that dollhouse, my theory on the dollhouses.
Oh, yeah, please.
The beginning. I think what that represents, and this isn't like super like artsy nerd kind of thing, but it's just kind of like my take on it. I think that opening shot with her, because it's like you said, you start on the dollhouse, you push inside of the house.
Yeah.
Like you're in the room and you push into the dollhouse version of the room.
Yeah.
But then you have like live action Toni Collette walk into the room.
Yeah.
And then the shot continues and picks up. So it's like you're looking inside of a dollhouse at figurines that are like live, like real living people.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that whole sequence is to let you know from the very beginning of that movie that these people are puppets to something else and that they have no agency in their lives. That they're being absolutely controlled by a greater power.
I could definitely see that.
So I think that's,
because none of them really have a loud personality. Not well, personality is the wrong word, but like
no
Toni
control
Collette,
over the choices that are happening.
Toni Collette is just calmly every day before any of this shit went down. She's just calmly every day working in her workshop.
Yeah.
Dad is calmly every day going and doing whatever the fuck he does.
Yeah.
The daughter is just in her room making her weird fucking shit. And Alex Wolff is just fucking smoking pot and wishing he could kiss that girl.
So something else I noticed, even on the first watch, that's strange because I thought it would play a bigger factor. So there's a shot at the school when Charlie's outside playing. There's an old lady across the street beckoning her. You see her kind of like waving.
I might have missed that.
Yeah, it's real brief.
It's Grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's like, it doesn't fit everything. And you're like, okay, what's this about? But it's like, it comes into that they're being watched by the coven or whatever you would want to call them, the cult.
Yeah.
Like they're from every angle being like manipulated and changed.
Yeah.
Also, one of the cool things I remember seeing on Tumblr a few years ago was somebody had taken that shot of Alex Wolff with his hand up all fucked up like that.
Yeah.
And then they took it with the art of Pyman. And if you look, and Pyman's doing the same shit.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like
but yeah,
that.
I mean, I would totally 9 chopped off thumbs.
Yeah, there's
Charlie.
The more I sit on this and the more I think about it, the more I like it, and I actually might watch it again before Halloween's up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it is pretty twisted, which I am into.
But I'll tell you something real fucked up about that movie. Like I said, I've seen it probably 4 or 5 times now since it came out. It's darkly comic. There's shit in there that's way fucking funnier.
I did laugh out loud at a couple of things.
Even
like
Toni Collette sawing her head off. You're like, after you've seen it a few times, you start to realize like this is presented in a way that it's like at first is extremely shocking.
Yeah, and then it's like,
but like the more you see it, you realize how much like how much they're putting on,
right?
And how like complete like so much. Like if you just watch Toni Collette's reactions, like it's like 1, they're fantastic. She's incredible, but 2, she also like she's giving you a performance that has like a mildly comedic undertone within it because it's so insane and over the top. But with it still fits in the tone of the movie. It never feels like she's overacting.
Yeah,
but the movie itself often presents shit that's like kind of fucked up in a funny way.
Oh, she's great, man. So we've got a couple extra segments of the show. We're gonna go watch Mausoleum. The Mausoleum, not Mausoleum. We're gonna go watch Mausoleum.
Yes.
Which is a 1980-something movie about a mausoleum. I don't know dick about it.
Oh, damn.
But I looked at a couple of images from it, and
don't even do that.
Oh, no. It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind. I can put that aside.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping it didn't spoil some of the greater, finer aspects of this masterpiece.
I'm very excited. We're going to watch it. It looks horrendous.
I love it.
And awesome at the same time. So, I don't know what they have in common, but we'll figure it out when we come back. Here's the fake thing that I made probably like 3 months ago. All right, what's another thing?
All right. We still haven't done P-Undies.
Bam, bam, bam. Tinkle, 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 tinkle. Bam, bam, bam. Tinkle, sprinkle in my undies. Bam, bam, bam. Hi. I'm Daniel King from It's Just Two Movies. And you know what? I wear P-undies.
Yeah?
They're the only undies you can just straight up piss yourself in.
P-undies?
Yeah.
I've heard those are very comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you should try them, man.
I will.
Fast forward to 3 weeks later. Oh, hey, Birdman.
Hey, Daniel King from It's Just Two Movies, the podcast.
Hey, man.
I love P-undies. I've never been able to soil a pair of underwear more than I have in P-undies.
Right?
It's perfect. Now, here's a if you use the coupon code Piss Yourself 2021, you can get 85% off your first pair of PeeUndies.
$69.99
$69.99
plus shipping.
plus $55 shipping.
$12.99.
Which one is it? I thought we agreed on
It's
$59.99.
the first one plus the second one.
It's
It's
gonna
both of them.
It's gonna confuse people though.
It's both of them. No, they got it.
I guess they'll order it.
People can get confused. Fuck those people. I'll piss in their underwear. PeeUndies. That's just two movies at PeeUndies.com.
A Kellogg's company.
That's not a real coupon if that is a real website, which it probably is. Bam, bam, bam. Tinkle, 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 tinkle. Bam, bam, bam. Tinkle, sprinkle in my undies. Bam, bam, bam. Special thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams. Please check out his latest project at suns.bandcamp.com. That is sunds.bandcamp.com. Thanks to Lamplighter Productions for our artwork. Please check out more of their stuff on Instagram at lamplighter_productions_IL. First time listener, we're anywhere podcasts are found, but if you don't subscribe to any of those services, listen to the show for free on our website. It's just the number 2, movies.buzzsprout.com. That's it's just 2movies.buzzsprout.com. Want to get in touch with the show? Email us at itsjust2movies@gmail.com or find us on Twitter or Instagram at itsjust2movies. Want to support the show? Great. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe on whatever platform tickles your fancy. And one last thank you to our editor, head writer, producer, and host. Those are all me. So anyway, back to the show. My buddy Kevin, we're going on a road ride, and we're going up to St. Louis. And these two girls are driving us. This other girl, she's not very attractive, like kind of just very plain. And the girl that's riding in the passenger seat, she's like real hot, but we went to school with her, and like we are like friends with her ex-boyfriend, who is humongous. And they just split up. They just split up a couple of months ago, but we're all on good terms. We're good friends. You know how I have a kind of a raunchy sense of humor. Mm-hmm. My friend Kevin's no different. So we're riding up to St. Louis, and he's like, she'll say something. The attractive girl will say something, airheady. And they'd be like, ha, 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 why don't you come back here and suck our dicks? And then I picked up on the joke, and I was like, yeah, well, shut the fuck up and suck our dicks. So she eventually crawls in the back seat, sucks my dick, and then sucks his dick. And then we drive back down to Farmington, and she's like, we're going to go pick up my friend. And we're like, fuck yeah. So
there was a different girl driving at this time?
There's a different girl driving the whole time.
Oh, man.
She's not really in the story, but she's cool.
Poor girl.
She's just right. While she's driving, so
kind of getting left out of the action.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm like 18 at this point. I think.
Yeah.
I might be 16 or 17. I don't really recall. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So she's like, oh, we're gonna go pick up my friend, and we're like, oh fuck yeah. And then we get to the house, and a guy comes out. And he gets in the car, and he's like, hey, baby, what's up? And they just start making out. And we're like, oh, bro. Like, she's just making out with that dude after. Mm-hmm. And then it's super gross and awkward. And then her tits open up and rip his fucking chest out. We're back. We just watched the movie Mausoleum. Woo! You can get there from A to B on a skateboard, roller skates, automobile, or a Segway, baby. That's how it's done. We watched Mausoleum.
Did you record that whole story?
I'll cut it into the...
You fucked me up, dude.
I'll cut it in post, yeah. I know.
I was like, is that story for real?
No, I was thinking about that while I was pissing like 40 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. So that whole story's made up.
That's completely manufactured.
Pretty convincing. I was like...
Half of it's made up. Like a third of it's made up. Like 25% of it's made up. Like 10% of it's made up.
Eating the guy.
We watched the movie Mausoleum. It's that I don't have a friend named Kevin.
Gotcha.
We watched the movie Mausoleum. It's a 1983 horror film, hour 36 runtime. Release date just says 1983. Directed by Michael Dugan. Music by Jamie Mendoza Nava. Story by Catherine. It really doesn't matter. Stars Bobby Breese, Marjorie Gortner, Norman Burton, LaWanda Page. Oh, she was great. That's the housekeeper.
Yeah. Some real disturbing shit going on in this house.
Maurice Sherbane? Sherbane? Sherbanee. Sherbane?
Danny, I can't say that.
Sherbane?
I respect this movie so little that I actually don't even care if
It
you get
really
the
doesn't
names
matter.
right.
And Laura Hippie.
Laura Hippie.
And a couple other people. Mostly it's Bobby Breeze with her titties out and having green glowing eyes and making people levitate. Yep.
Breeze.
Did I say levitate?
You did say there's some levitation.
I think I said levitate. But
Well,
levitate is what I
mean-
meant. So, Doug, tell me, what would you say this movie's about?
Well, Danny, it's one of those impossible
One of
questions.
the most sought after... One of the most sought after ancient riddles of all time.
This is definitely one of those movies that gives you a headache trying to figure out why things are happening. But my best guess is it's about I would say, 15-year-old girl who's dressed like a 7-year-old girl who goes to her mother's funeral, but is mysteriously allured to a mausoleum at the cemetery, wherein she is cursed by a demon and then goes on to live with her aunt. Well, her aunt grows up, she grows up, gets married. Her aunt's like in her life still doing her thing. She is now married to a successful businessman, doctor. I honestly.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah, Joel. Yeah. And
She's married to Joel Osteen.
When,
or Ryan Stiles.
When she goes to a new funeral and her urges to kill are now awakened. And then, that's more or less where the rest of the movie takes place. Is very domestic. We spend probably 80% of the movie hanging out in her kitchen.
I thought this was about Susan getting her tits out. So,
well, yes, it is about that.
It's definitely about Susan getting her tits
Free the
out.
nipple.
This is schlocky early 80s, the borderline softcore porn horror. There's just a lot of tits in it. It's a pretty horny movie for 1983. Like you were saying, that's a phrase I've used forever. Somebody's like, "Oh man, they got a deal on buy 2 get 3 free of this thing," and I'm like, "That's horny as fuck."
Yeah, this is a horny movie.
This is a horny ass movie, man.
A lot of sexual behavior happening.
There's a lot of tits in it. She's trying to bang everybody, and if she's not, she's at least making bedroom eyes.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
At everybody, at any what do they always say? Any swinging dick. Literally is the case with this movie.
Yeah.
Every male member of the cast that just graces the screen for 30 seconds or less is seduced.
Oh, yeah.
By Susan and her whatever the fuck demon behavior.
No age, no discrimination. Like, hey, do you want to bang? Oh, if you want to bang, then I'm going to demon mausoleum your ass. And that's pretty much what happens.
It's the bulk of the movie, yeah. And so then,
The other big bulk of the movie is the gardening scene. There's a bit where there's a set... You told me about it. You're like, there's a really long montage of a guy just gardening, like just doing his normal gardening work. And I was like, ha ha ha, that's funny, via text, And then we watched the movie, and there was very literally like a 7-minute scene of a guy just like chopping a stump, mowing the grass,
putting some soil down,
sharpening an axe, putting some soil down, eating a sandwich, taking a nap.
Taking a nap on the dock. That was my favorite part of it. I cannot
stress this enough to you. It's like...
And it's like
several minutes.
Each of those sequences is probably a minute by itself.
It seems like a commercial.
It
seems like a commercial for a lawn care service until he's sleeping.
No, absolutely. It feels like you kind of feel like you're watching a lawn care ad. You could drop people's
Scott's. You're like waiting for the Scott's logo to
drop their logos and their contact information. But yeah, it's like
if you need someone to seed the lawn, we'll have a guy of indiscriminate race come to your house and fuck your wife.
Oh, can we talk about his fucking finger banging his navel?
Dude. All right, so I was like, what movie? And I lifted up my shirt. I'm a very portly fellow if you don't know me personally. So I was like fingering my belly button and going, yeah, get in there all nice and deep. Like I was like, what movie? And you immediately were like, it's whatever movie. What was it?
Mausoleum.
Dodgeball.
Oh yeah,
Dodgeball. That's the other movie. That's the only 2 movies I've ever seen a grown man finger his navel in.
Oh yeah.
So I can't help but think
the difference is
I can't help but think that Dodgeball was like whoever wrote
they'd seen this.
Somebody had seen this at the writer's table and was like, please put that in for the love of God.
Well, and the difference is Dodgeball, that guy is not trying, he's horny, yes, but he's not trying to seduce. this gardener is trying to seduce.
Yeah, he's doing it as like a sexual, like, oh yeah,
he's like throwing that
you?
shit over at Susan, and he's like fingering his belly button. He's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm so glad we're alone now.
And he's about, I don't know, what would you say, 17 years her senior?
Oh, yeah, for sure. for sure. This is like his retirement gig. He shouldn't even be. But yeah, so then let's see. Then the therapist gets called after she visits him, and he's like, yeah, shit's fucked up. I've heard demonic voices before, but not paired with her growing green eyes, which, mind you, 90% of the time they're doing these green eyes, they're like freeze framing that shot.
Oh, she's crazy.
Yeah, and they're like, they like freeze frame the shot, and then they fucking paint it
dialogue
like
behind it.
Yeah. And they like paint the eyes green to make it. It's like Microsoft Paint looking shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's not. But yeah, so the psychiatrist or whatever therapist decides to go to the mausoleum and get the thorn. Oh wait, no, there's someone else does it. Whatever, it doesn't fucking
like a
matter.
Thorn crown.
Yeah, like grabs this crown and brings it back to put it on her to like get rid of her demon ass.
The demon thing. Okay, so I do like the rubber snot covered demon monster.
Yes,
I like that.
It's a pretty goopy looking creature, ain't it?
Yeah, it reminds me of like Troll or the Leprechaun.
Or we talked about Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh,
the
yeah,
troll
Ernest,
from that.
the troll from Ernest Scared
Just
Stupid.
Just big goopy rubber suits. Like it is a full blower.
Speaking of trolls, have you ever seen Troll Hunter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fucking love that
Do you
movie.
love Troll Hunter?
Love fucking Troll Hunter.
Of course.
If you haven't seen Troll Hunter, fucking watch Troll Hunter.
Yeah, this is a stirring endorsement from both of us, and not as a bad movie.
No, it's
like
excellent movie.
as an actual, like, you want to sit down and watch a wild sci-fi film.
Yeah,
it's fucking great.
It's so good. It's funny as fuck. It's adventurous. It's wild. It is found footage, but don't let that scare you away because it's pretty confidently handled. Like it's not.
It really is.
It's not sloppy found footage.
Confidently
it's
handled.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good description of Troll.
But yeah, so I mean, in essence, that's more or less all of Mausoleum's plot, if you want to call it that. Most of it consists of people walking for several minutes at a time.
There are some really great. There's a bit where she's like, her and her husband. They're like making out. Her and Joel Osteen. They're making out. She's rubbing her bare tits on Joel Osteen, like he loves, because Joel Osteen loves that shit.
Yeah,
and that's shots fired, by the way.
If you want to take it, if you want Danny to take it back, and you're a member of his church, have him donate $5 million.
That's right.
To Danny's RPG water tower,
or just fund. Have him let hurricane victims into his house. Ever.
Either or, you could have a rocket blowing up.
Look, if there were hurricane victims coming up to my house, being like, I don't have anywhere to stay, please, please, my family is starving. I'd be like, yeah, come on, are you fucking kidding me?
They can't donate money, Danny. Not when they don't have anything.
I don't donate money because I'm fucking poor.
If they were giving him money, you would let him in. Anyway, that's I could go down a dark rabbit hole.
Fuck that guy. So anyway, Joel Osteen's making out with this prostitute, right?
That's his wife.
I know. I'm just talking shit now. Joel Osteen's making out with 7 hookers. 3 of them have AIDS, and 1 of them has a penis.
Oh,
and
we must have watched some different movies.
And he's like, they're embracing very tightly. And all of a sudden, his like chest gets ripped out, and it closes in on her.
Explodes
and
everywhere.
She's full goopy monster, and she's got like her tits are like sentient. They have little faces,
little
on
miniature gargoyle titties,
little gargoyle titties with their own
and
faces.
They're drooping milkies everywhere.
Very reminiscent of Evil Bong, but
that's the first shot where you see the gargoyle titties, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
that's when she fully transforms.
You got to understand, at the point of the movie that I'm describing right now, we've already sat through like an hour and 15 minutes of it.
Yes.
And it's not long.
No.
It feels longer than it is.
That movie fills every bit of 3 hours.
It's because a lot of the shots, I think, are they're like when he's like, the guy's like, he wakes up in the middle of the night and he sees his wife looking like a demon, and then he casually walks into the other room. And then it cuts to him in the other room, and he's frantically calling his therapist.
Yeah.
So he goes from like a casual saunter to being very panicked.
And sweating.
Yeah, and sweating.
And then what's he do, Danny, after he calls his therapist?
He's like, listen, that's not Susan. And the therapist is like, listen, it's pretty late.
I'll talk to her tomorrow.
I think we could all do with a night's sleep. why don't you have her come to my office tomorrow at 2 p.m.? And he says, okay, great. We'll do that. And then he's terrified of his wife. He's like, that's not my wife. That's a monster.
Oh, yeah.
And then he hangs up the phone
Real
and
quick,
he goes
though.
back in the other
Real
room
quick.
and fucks her.
Oh, Danny. You beat me to it. I was going to say, what would you do in his situation?
Probably the same thing, honestly.
I mean, I'd probably be like, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight until we figure out the fuck.
I would sleep in the car.
Yeah, I'd fucking go to a hotel or
like
some
if I
shit,
turned over and my old lady was just like a monster, like wheezing in a rocking chair by the window. No, I'm leaving. I would stay stay at the Super 8.
I definitely sure as fuck would not go back in there and lay pipe to her. Like,
no, he's not.
And the whole time he's doing it, he's like scared. He's like looking at her and he's like, oh god.
Yeah, no. He loves it though. The gardener's not the only person pulling hose. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
got
boy,
him.
that gardener.
Got him. It just, there's a lot of really weird stuff in this movie, and it all is hilarious. Does it work as a good cognitive storytelling machine? No.
No, it doesn't.
No, not even close.
No,
but
it's a series of small vignettes stitched together to try to make something that makes sense.
Oh my God. Okay. How many days do you think filming this that they were like, we only got Jim today?
Yeah, so let's shoot all Jim in this kitchen.
Right, yeah. So there's a bunch of scenes that are cut really weird. Like the lighting's different from one person talking to the other person talking. Yeah. You pointed out some of the bizarre lighting while they were...
There's lights that look like there's a spotlight fucking 6 inches away from the actor just blasting them. Then there's plenty of shots where it's like the same fucking setup, like at a different part, where it's like no cuts, no nothing. It's just the camera lingering for 7 minutes or whatever for a scene.
No cuts,
and then we come back to that same setup in the kit. Like, honestly, I would love to see like a breakdown of scene by scene of how much of this movie takes place in that kitchen.
No cuts, no nuts. That's what I always say. I don't think I've ever actually said that. It's probably first time. No cuts, no nuts.
But we were talking about the monster suit.
The monster suit looks great. I really like it. I mean, it's 1983. I don't expect it to be that articulated, but it was actually pretty articulated for 1983. I thought it looked great. I just wish they would have written a cognitive A to B story to fit.
To make the monster. I mean, because the monster is only as cool as the movie.
Yeah.
Could be a cool looking monster if the movie sucks.
Yeah.
You just don't...
Fucking Ernest Halloween or Ernest Scared Stupid nails it in comparison to this.
Well, the guy that made that monster is John Carl Buechler, and he is a St. Louis area native.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like it. St. Louis's own.
Yeah. Also went on to direct Friday the 13th Part 7.
Mm.
And a few other movies. But, you know, he's famously who made Jason, the iconic Jason. Like, his Jason's considered, because he was doing the effects before.
Jason?
Yeah, he was doing the effects before he directed 7.
Mm.
But, you know, he's the guy that brought Kane Hodder in. He was the guy that, like, defined the look of Jason.
Said fucking
yeah, the guy that's like, this is like what we all know as Jason. Like, if I said imagine Jason, his version is the definitive version. That's what everyone thinks of.
Nice.
So, I mean, this dude's kind of became an icon. He passed a few years ago.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago, so it's kind of a bummer. But I mean,
yeah, you know, we all do, and
his fucking work lives on forever in Mausoleum. Like, yeah,
we'll
titty monster.
We all do. We're biological organisms made up of fleeting feelings and indiscriminate decisions, and when we finally expire, time marches on.
Danny's been watching Midnight Mass.
I have watched. We'll talk about Midnight Mass. I have some issues with Midnight Mass, but I do actually like it. Is there anything else specifically you have to say about Mausoleum? I mean, like, we didn't really cover it beat for beat. What would you do about it to make it like more compelling? I didn't look up the budgetary information.
I can't imagine it was a lot. Can't imagine it's a lot.
I would put my money on saying this probably lost money.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So what would you do to make this
Some of the biggest
profitable, or what would you do to make this profitable, or I don't know, like make it more watchable. Like it's super watchable because it's fun and fucking absolutely bizarre. But what would you do to make it interesting, I guess, or profitable? One or the other.
I'd have to say, like, well, I think first to make it profitable, we'd have to make a good movie out of it.
Okay.
So
your work's cut out for you.
Yeah, you got a little bit of work ahead of you. I'd say first things first, though. Like,
what if you were gonna remake it? If you were gonna remake it next week, who would you get for what, and what would you do?
All right, so let's start with recasting. I'm with you, like on Brian Cox for the therapist.
Yeah,
and it's like we're not talking about anyone most people are gonna look at and be like, oh, this cast isn't anyone familiar that anyone knows. Yeah, but yeah, I would say I would definitely recast with a lot better stock of actors first and foremost.
Like if you were gonna reboot Halloween back to the first one, I would get him to play Donald Pleasance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just
just
a solid cast.
If I had to like reimagine, Loomis, Brian Cox would be perfect for that. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
with his natural accent and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's like recasting it from scratch would be first thing. Also making sure like that script needs a hell of a rewrite from top to bottom. Like,
oh my god!
I mean, it's like the lore is just so like uneven. There's no mystery to the movie. Like what's going on in the first 5 minutes, and it doesn't even make an attempt to like give you anything to unlock as the audience. Like there's no beats. You don't discover anything from the character's point of view.
Like maybe open up with a funeral as you did, and then show the girl running away. And then cut to present day.
Maybe she walks into the mausoleum and then we cut away and we don't know what happened in there. Fuck us did that shit and it come out great.
Yeah, cut to present day, and then through the present day storyline, every time she like goes to sleep and wakes up, she has a snippet of a dream from her going into the mausoleum.
Yeah.
Boom! There you go. It's it immediately makes more sense than the thing we just
inching
watched.
out little beats of like discovery.
Yeah,
you're watching and you're like, what are we seeing?
The other thing that I would do is I would dial up Susan's tits, like just give me more of them more often. Because the thing I'm watching currently, I don't care about is the second most compelling thing in the entire movie.
There's three things in this movie.
It's not even her physical tits. It's just wanting to, like the anticipation of when she's going to take them out.
It's more when she's going to put them back. Because it's really kind of goes the other. Yeah.
6 to 1, half dozen to the other.
Inside you, there are two monster titties.
Yeah, right. Inside you, there are two monster tits. One of them is full of malice and hate, and the other one is full of
drippy milk shit.
Love and light and dripping glowing milk shit. The green milk from that Star Wars movie I haven't seen.
But yeah, so I would do that. Get a better director. Come on. Like, it's a poorly directed movie. Yeah, it's in every sense of the word. It's like
garbage all over.
And it's just one of those like, it's always still Danny. It's like I love that period of time between Texas Chainsaw and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Before everyone had really
everybody's
locked in.
Everybody's still kind of trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's still kind of like I think it was the most imaginative period for horror because it's like, well, we know there's money to be made, so we're gonna greenlight a bunch of crazy shit, but we haven't quite figured out that formula yet that makes it work.
Throw it all at the wall and figure out.
Yeah, you'll see
what
some
sticks.
of the weirdest shit from like 1982, 1983. Some weird shit.
That is very, very true.
Yeah. So,
and the more movies we watch for this show, I find that to be more accurate as we go.
Yeah.
Like there is a sweet spot for schlock cinema.
Oh yeah. You watch something from like 1987 or 88, and it's like by that point we've had several Halloweens. Yeah. We've had several Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and then we're by that point we're balls deep in all the fucking like rip-off versions of those movies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like you're starting to get like all your like, well, I think the Prowler and stuff kind of like, goes off a little bit. But yeah, you're getting, everyone's kind of figured out, oh, well, they got to be teenagers, they got to do drugs, got to have premarital sex, killers got to do this, we got to do that.
Drugs,
whereas like you watch Mausoleum, man, it's like, I don't think anyone knew what the fuck they're doing.
This is just a woman and her husband.
Yeah, it's kind of like, like they would set up the camera, they would shoot some stuff, and they're like, you know what, we need to pick up a shot of this. And
it's Ryan Stiles from Whose Line Is It Anyway? is married to a demon lady and eventually gets killed, and she's just got her tits out and is banging.
I wonder
everybody.
if this is the only death by titty in a movie.
No, it's not even close. Look, we already did Evil Bong, and at least 4 people die or are trapped in a unrealistic realm of stripper club bong, third dimension.
I've never seen Evil Bong.
Me neither until I watched it for this show. It just fit with our. It's actually got a couple of banger jokes, and there's actually a point in Evil Bong where they accidentally make a really great plot point for a story, and then they just totally ignore it.
I heard you talking about that. I don't know if it was on the episode or if it was like mentioned in a different episode. But yeah, I still haven't seen it. I just haven't been compelled to. I don't know how many times back in the Blockbuster days. I probably
wouldn't be compelled to, but if it was ever like free streaming on a thing and you scrolled across it, put it on. It's a hoot.
Yeah.
It was a lot better than I thought it would be for a thing that I am not really into.
I don't know how many times I'd walk past that or Ginger Dead Man at Blockbuster back in the day.
I've never watched Ginger Dead Man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it does fall under like Bird's thing he talks about where it's like a movie that's bad just for the sake of being bad.
Yeah.
Like where it's trying to be intentionally a bad movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt about those.
Like a Sharktopus.
Yeah. I mean, I can enjoy that one a little bit. There's more humor in those, I think.
Sharknado.
But,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, then it's like it's
that
just
genre of film that you're deliberately trying to be low budget.
So much more. I love to see a filmmaker who really tried, really put some ideas out there. Even something
failed miserably.
Even something like Mausoleum. Like this is somebody setting out to try to make a good movie.
They were trying to set the world on fire. They just didn't know how to do it.
And everybody making that movie is probably thinking like, oh man, we're gonna have a bona fide hit on our hands.
Oh
they're sitting out there with the gardener when they're shooting his scene and they're eating lunch.
Oh yeah,
they're all eating lunch and he's eating lunch, but they're filming him eat lunch.
Yeah,
because they're trying to save time.
They're like, we might use this as a throwaway clip.
Yeah.
They didn't know it was going to be a 90-second clip of the film.
The editor just got all that shit in his lap, and he's like,
he's like slurping up that piece of white onion.
They fired the director and everybody, and then just fucking hired their kid neighbor as the editor. And he's like, "What am I supposed to do with all this gardening shit?" It's like, because I'll just put it all together.
He just left it in. It became the centerpiece of the film.
You know what? An 18-year-old boy cutting that movie would make way more fucking sense than anything I could wrap my head around. Because he's like, okay, I got all this footage of this dude.
That's not wrong, actually. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And then he's like, well, what's all these titty shots? We'll just put those all in the movie.
Yeah. It's just titties and manual labor.
And it's like, the shot's 7 minutes long. It hasn't cut. Like, it's all titties. And he's like, so?
Yeah, he's like, this is not a titty flick. But the best part is when she's a monster and she's got these animate cognitive titties that have teeth and slime dripping out of their mouth.
Yeah.
It's great, man. It's a great. I love a rubber monster. You know that about me. I love a gross rubber monster.
That's why when you ask me for
dripping in goop, and you deliver.
You shoot me something. You say, "Hey, I want this," and I'm like, "Here's a goopy monster," and you're like, "Fuck yes."
So
I will say, to the credit of Mausoleum,
okay,
there's a shot they repeat, but it's a top-down shot in the hallway of the Mausoleum, coming through the archways, tracking shot, like dolly shot.
Oh yeah.
Down, bird's eye view.
And they do
on them as they're walking through,
out and down the window of the car.
No, that shot's good, but it's a tracking shot when she's walking through the halls of the Mausoleum.
Oh, yeah.
And the shot's facing straight down. Later on, when she's a goopy monster.
Down.
Yeah. Later on, the goopy monster, they're doing it again. And I was like, that's a lot of fucking effort for this movie. Because
it really is.
They don't put that much effort in the rest of it.
Half the budget.
Yeah.
At least.
God bless them. They spent it all on that.
Yeah, there were parts of this that were really ambitious. There was a bunch of this that was just total horseshit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's go ahead and thumb it. All right, if you had to, how many, if your thumbs were tits?
Monster tits.
If your thumbs were monster tits that had little faces on the end of each one of them. So when you bend the thumb, it's like...
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm down to do voiceover work. Please contact me at itsjustamovies@gmail.com, at itsjustamovies on Twitter or Instagram, or, oh, by the way, I'm going to shoehorn in a call to action. If you like this show, please leave us a comment, leave a like, follow us. It actually does help the show out a lot as far as our analytics.
It costs you nothing.
But nothing helps us as much as you bothering your friends until they listen to this show, even if you lie to them.
As Danny fingers his
like if your
fingers
friends
his belly button.
Yeah, I'm fingering my belly button right now. I'm like, yeah. Tell your friends to get in there all nice and deep, like.
Ooh. But if I had thumbs that were milky, rubbery monster titties,
milky, rubbery monster titty,
with
KY
leaky
jelly
mouth
thumbs
coming out of them.
Yeah, how many thumbs would you give for this as a bad movie?
As a bad movie, like an enjoyable bad movie.
Yeah, what was your level of enjoyment off of it? I know our rating system is fucking stupid, so if you want me to go first, I'm happy to do that.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll give it a 6.
You're going to give it a 6?
I'll give it a 6.
I was going to give it an 8.5.
Really?
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this as a bad flick.
Happy to hear that.
My favorite part about it was the fact that it was an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
it's got lots of weird cuts that make it feel longer than it is, but really, it only took an hour and a half of my time to sit through it and be like, look at this weird fucking thing you made. Wow.
Yep, and you get to go the rest of your life knowing you've seen it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, hey.
For sure. There's a bit where she just like walks out on the balcony and like she's wearing a towel and looks at the gardener, and the gardener stops mid-axing a stump.
Oh, and there's like a little eye fuckery back and forth.
Oh, yeah, dude. They're eye fuckering like crazy.
I want to finger my belly button.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of sensuality happening in that film.
Oh man, it is. It is. This is
It's a horny movie.
Pretty fucking horny.
If you're a little prude and horniness bothers you, probably just want to skip this whole episode.
You don't want. If you're a little prude, this is probably not your show anyway.
No.
If this is your first listening, I'm so sorry that you stumbled across this.
I'm sad that this is your first episode.
I hope that you
go back, listen to a different one. I promise they're better.
And just crank a couple out to the latest JCPenney magazine that came in the mail, and
don't think about leaky monster titties.
Yeah, leaky monster titties that'll rip your chest cavity open.
But does their boobies kill somebody in Evil Bong?
Yes.
Fuck.
3 times.
God damn.
Yeah, they're pretty great though, but they're like. It's like a bra or a brassiere, and like one time it's like vampire titties, and one time it's like werewolf titties, and one time it's a different kind of titty that kills you.
Okay, that's strange.
You heard it here first. Look out for titties; they're coming for you. Listen to me.
It's the most benign,
it's getting
amazing.
Serious. Don't even try to run. There's titties coming out.
Like I can't imagine. I don't ever want to imagine a world where titties are out to get us.
No, that'd be awful, wouldn't it?
I mean, it's movie.
What if they were, though?
Put that in my head, man.
Wow. That's a movie. You start writing that down. Make some script ideas. In a world where titties are out to get you.
Could you imagine, like, mammograms and all the titties are...
What if titties like
attacking you every fucking time?
Like if you suck or squeeze on a titty, if it just like exuded like a poisonous gas, like a squeezy toy.
Be a terrible world to live in.
What if they made a ridiculous noise every time you squeezed them, like a squeezy toy for a dog?
I think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let's do the next segment of the show.
Hey, what you watching?
What you been watching, man? You got any new stuff on your watch list or anything else you've seen or read recently that you'd like to tell people about?
We briefly talked about Midnight Mass, the new Mike Flanagan thing on Netflix. I personally enjoyed the living shit out of it. Thought it was great. Yes, I do. I'm with Danny. There's some stuff. It didn't bother me as much, but
I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not all the way through it. I got like an episode and a half left because I just fell asleep. I got like an episode and a half left. There's like an episode and a half worth in like towards the end of it for me that are a little monologue-y. And the writing is great. The writing is great. It just feels a little like...
Little self-indulgent.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Self-indulgent. Thank you. That's exactly the
I'm
perfect
with
term.
you, yeah. And it's I know
it
exactly
is a
what you
little
mean.
self-indulgent, which I get because that's why I haven't written anything, because I'm like, oh,
That's why you edit your shit.
I get to stroking my ego about
Gotta
how
stroke
clever
it,
I
dude.
am.
Gotta stroke it. Then you gotta go back and edit it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like,
Then you got to go back and cut it.
Let's get real. Like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, listen, motherfucker, do we really need 3 pages of this?
Right, yeah.
You know, you get rid of this shit,
exactly,
you know, like,
exactly. It is.
It's like, you got the point across 20 minutes ago.
They've got 12 pages of dialogue and it needs to be 4.
Exactly. No, for sure. And it's like, yeah, it goes on a little long. I feel you.
It's that particular series. I don't want to give any spoilers about it, but it's got a really cool sci-fi element that you could also dig into with an old, like, religious text.
Oh, yeah.
Sanskrit, you could really dig your heels in there and make it really interesting and make it its own thing. But instead, you give me an episode of monologues, like a whole episode of it, like an hour of just
could have been a 6-episode order instead of 7.
4 main characters just being like, let me tell you what I think about things. And I get it, because I know people like that. Like, I get it. I don't need it in the middle of that. But the rest of that show, I'm way fucking into it.
Yeah.
I'm way fucking into the direction that it's going. I'm way fucking into the cast. Oh my God, the cast for that is fucking amazing.
Good, yeah.
Have you seen Squid Game?
No, we talked about that. I haven't seen it yet. I need to.
Squid Game's great. It's great.
I'm down for it, yeah.
It is the Parasite of TV shows.
Yeah.
Which we're going to do Parasite on this show someday. I know we've been threatening it for a really long time. And at one point, we're going to do it probably after we're done with The Ween. We'll probably get right on that Parasite. Get right onto it and just
let it get in you.
Get real deep into it and let it get in. Let it get in you,
Yeah.
Through your ears.
No, I haven't seen Squid Game, though, but it's definitely on my list of things. Like, I'll probably get into it after Halloween. Like, kind of.
I randomly put it on one night, and I was talking to Alicia, and I was like, hey, you want to watch this? And she's like, no, not really.
Yeah.
So I put it on. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna watch it then. I'm gonna watch 2 episodes of it and see if it's any good. I put it on and watched an episode of it. I watched like 35 minutes of it. Absolutely fucking glued to it.
Yeah.
I glanced over at her and she just like, phone has timed out, screen locked. She's still got it in her hand, but it's just like watching
Totally
slack-jawed. Yeah, it's great.
I have faith that it's going to be great. Yeah, no doubt. I just haven't got around to it.
I mean, it's not going to fucking change your life. There are a couple of things about Squid Game that it's like, the parts that were written in Korean don't exactly translate to English properly. So it's like, what are you, some kind of jerk? Like, that's not... Yeah. That's not a direct translation, but that's the closest translation that fit into the gap that fits the voiceover.
Well, we were talking about dubs earlier briefly when we were talking about this. And I know your love of Guillermo del Toro, but do you know that's why Pan's Labyrinth doesn't have an English dub?
I did not know that.
He said he did one for Devil's Backbone, and it was so butchered.
Yeah, well, it depends on... I think greatly it depends on from what original language to what secondary language.
Even then, a lot of times it's trying to fool people into thinking that they're hearing their native language.
Yeah, I don't care.
I wish, care. Like, you ever see like movies when they're playing in Japan, like English?
I watch subtitles.
Movies?
I watch subtitles for like 8 minutes, and I forget I'm even.
Yeah, it doesn't bother
them.
me.
Yeah,
but whenever in like China or Japan or Asian countries where I see a lot of this. They'll play the movie in English, and it'll be in English, but they'll have subtitles the whole time. Yeah. And, like, nobody gives a fuck, and those movies are huge.
And the subtitles...
Like, I don't know why it's a big deal over here.
The subtitles don't match the English.
Maybe our literacy rate would be better if people read subtitles.
I feel very strongly about the education system in the United States of America, and that's not what this podcast is about.
No,
However, I feel very strongly about it, and if you work in the education system... I appreciate what you do. You're underpaid and undervalued, and we can do better. As far as like education is concerned, like because people are like, oh, God bless, oh, our they make it a whole thing where it's like, well, you can't teach evolution.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, then I can't teach your kids because like, you want me to not teach them math? Also, that's like debating algebra. You can't.
Someone shared with me a TikTok conspiracy the other day that like dinosaurs being killed by meteors is fake because it hasn't happened to us. I'm like, yeah, because you know,
it's weird. Meteors always land in craters.
Yeah, it's even weirder that like this is like the lottery of bad luck. Right. like it's not like the dinosaurs won the fucking lottery because they get hit by a meteor. In fact, it's like the opposite. You know, like, do you want them to get us? No, it's sheer fucking luck. It's like I don't even know the odds of getting hit by a meteor the size of Texas that would wipe out a race of species.
The most effective way to deflect an asteroid if it were heading straight to Earth is just to paint one side of it white. Because in a vacuum, an asteroid traveling through space directly at Earth, if we could just launch a giant paintball at it and paint one side of it white, the sun would actually push it away.
I've never heard that.
It's amazing.
I figured that the best solution would be to train a bunch of oil drillers to be sent up to the asteroid. That's what I always
thought was like, you're gonna need fucking Clint Eastwood. You're gonna need Tommy Lee Jones.
No. You're gonna need Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck. Michael Clark Duncan.
You're not talking about Blar McGludden, are you?
Yeah. All right. So you have an email you wanted to read earlier.
Oh no, we'll get there. Is there anything else you've been reading or checking out?
Yeah. So we were talking about it earlier. I finally, after a lot of peer pressure, got around to watching What We Do in the Shadows and the TV series.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if I was going to be into it. And honestly,
pretty
fucking great. Yeah. It's like burning through it in a weekend. I'm really bummed now because it's only 3 seasons. It's very short order.
I've watched like 3 or 4 episodes of the show, but I've watched the movie like 5 or 6 times. I fucking love the film What We Do in the Shadows.
Did you get to the Vampire Tribunal in the first season?
Ooh, I don't think so.
Get that far, and I promise you will love it.
Have you looked at the cast for the film? Like, it's got Taika Waititi in it, and all these other.
Do you want me to spoil something for you that might make you want to watch it?
No. I'll your recommendation alone. Yeah. I'll go back and rewatch it.
You know what? There's some surprises in an episode, but I'll let you know there is a cameo by Tilda Swinton as a vampire from Only Lovers Left Alive. And if that's not enough...
I really like Tilda Swinton.
I do too.
Like, she's amazing.
And it's just amazing to see her play a vampire version of herself. There's so many fucking cameos that you're just like... There's people, the cast, like, episode to episode, are people that you're just like, what? And, you know, that episode with Tilda has some other surprises that I don't want to take from you because you'll be giddy as fuck.
I'm down with that.
So I think it's like episode 7 of the first season. So, like, I would say make it that far. If you're not all in by the time that episode's over, then fair enough. You really give it a shot. But I feel like that episode is definitely a turning point for me on my love for the show. It was like, I liked it, but that put it over.
That's what made you love it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. I'll check that out. Do you have anything on your watch list?
Oh, shit.
Well, like, is there anything that you're looking forward to checking out in the next week or two?
Well, right now, Fantastic Fest is doing their virtual edition, so they have a bunch of their movies for this year. I don't know about a bunch, probably like 20 or so.
Okay. But, wow, that's a lot of movies for the average Joe.
Yeah, I don't know that. Realistically, I don't know that unless you just have nothing to do at all and you grind and watch everything they put up every day.
But you're going to watch Bloody Hell, like, probably this weekend, right?
Yeah. Because
I was giving you a really hard time about it.
I've heard it's great. I really just, other than just not getting around
like particularly you.
Yeah.
Look, I know like 4 people that would be like, this is one of the best movies I've seen. Yeah. And this is one of the most fun films I've seen in forever. You are one of those 4 people.
And I absolutely know you're right. And I know I'll love it.
It's a blast.
Yeah. I just haven't found like the right time.
I don't want to oversell it, so
No,
your expectations
totally
are too
right.
high, but I don't think that I can.
Well, Danny, you're not.
it's-
For me, it usually takes several. Like, I need 2 or 3 people that I trust to refer something.
Okay. Yeah,
You're
that makes
probably
sense.
number 3 at this point to be like, yeah, bloody hell's totally your jam.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
I think that's
You're
you.
definitely like in good company because it's like I
Look,
want to watch it.
Don't let that Arizona. Don't let that Arizona taint your
I
opinion.
think Arizona had a good discussion around it.
I think it did have a good discussion around it.
It was interesting because like I
would-
was with you. It's like things that could be great, but that's not the movie we're here to talk about. So I don't want to get too tangent.
Do you have anything else that's on your watch list coming up that you're like, I'm really excited about this?
Man, Titan, have you seen the stuff for that yet?
I have not, but I am excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm pumped to watch it. I haven't seen it yet or seen much about it.
I know a couple people that have seen it.
I'm the kind of person like I would rather avoid the trailers at this point because I've seen poorly cut trailers ruin too many movies.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of like sizzle material. I'm talking like 10 or 15-second bumpers. Not anything that spoils anything, just kind of gives you like a little taste of like a shot or a little moment. And I mean, did you see her other movie, Raw?
Oh, dude, I fucking loved Raw.
Yeah, like Raw.
That movie is fucking twisted.
Up. But it's also darkly comedic. I keep coming back to that with people where it's like
it does.
It's like you watch it and you watch it a second time, you're like, there's some funny shit in that movie, but it's not. Like it's kind of weird, really fucked up.
No, you're right. There is some weird shit in there.
It's
like
kind of
like
movie.
I get it. I see what you're doing. I see where you're going with that.
But yeah, no. If you loved Raw, I mean, this is her follow up to that, and it's supposedly like I know 2 or 3 people now that have seen it. There's
a movie that's on my watch list. I'm gonna watch with my old lady. Actually, she loves to do like couponing stuff, which I'm down with. Whatever. It's not. I don't invest a lot of my personal time into it, but I think it's cool that you can just take advantage of a thing like that. But there is a movie that has come out that is based on true events about like a class action lawsuit against people who were couponing called Queen Pins.
Okay. Was this those like extreme couponing people?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's a lawsuit against like the companies.
Oh, no shit.
Against those people.
Oh, the companies are suing the regular people?
Yeah, pretty much.
That can't be good.
This is a 2021 comedy film, hour 50 minutes long, directed by I cannot pronounce that name. It's probably a lady. But stars Kristen Bell, Kirby Howell Baptiste, Vince Vaughn, Paul Walter Hauser, and Leslie Jones, and there's like Joel McHale's in it. There's lots of funny other people in it. Jack McBrayer. It's got a really great cast, and she was like, "Oh, this is a movie that came out. You want to watch it with me?" So yeah, we're probably gonna watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Like just a weird streaming comedy. I think it's on Paramount right now.
Queen Pins,
yeah, instead of Kingpins.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it.
Keep an eye out for that.
You get it.
Yeah.
You're down with wordplay. You
Trying
love
to think
that shit.
of if there's anything else.
All right, man. There is other things. Stuff from Instagram.
God.
I ask as always tonight the movie trivia stylings of Douglas Wicker in the studio. Got anything you want us to talk about? And the people want to know, why is your penis so small? Genetics. Next question.
Bad luck.
Genetics and bad luck. Next question. With double features, should you always lead with the good movie? I assume that's more of a podcast question.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a good general question for you.
For what we do, because we do a good movie then a bad movie, yes. Should you always lead with the good movie first during a double feature? Like if you're watching movies at home? I mean, I still think yes. If I was sitting down to watch 2 movies, because I go to the drive-in frequently, and sometimes, actually most of the time, the film that I actually want to watch at the drive-in is the second feature.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess maybe it doesn't matter. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I'm of 2 thoughts on it, Danny. I think So traditionally, do you know where the term B-movie came from?
I do not. No, please enlighten us.
Studios would make B movies, which were usually featuring lesser known actors, TV actors at some point, supporting actors who were given lead roles in those movies.
Okay.
They were given smaller budgets, almost all exploitation, science fiction, horror, just cheaper stuff to produce that's genre and can fill up time, right? That was the idea. So people would go to double features back in the Nickelodeon days, and you would go see, some short films, some comedy skits, stuff like that. Three Stooges come from that era. And then, then you would go to your B movie. Like I said, you would have not your heavy hitters, not the people paid money to come see. Then you get your A movie, which would be your Clark Gable movie or whatever, Maltese Falcon or whatever.
It's a fucking hot name drop, Clark Gable.
Yeah. So you'd be going to see your top shit. That's the movie you come to see. Your B movie was right before that. So in that order, though, your B movie is never as good as your A movie.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So that's traditionally
cool.
what that whole situation was. So the idea is you would slowly get, elevate the material as the night went on and you watch more shit. But myself, I think there's room to be said for I'm getting older these days, so I say there's room. There's something to be said about starting with a good movie.
Okay.
Because if it's gonna take your, you're gonna think more about it.
I just
concentrate more.
I want to sit down and get
you
into the first thing, and then I kind of want to fuck off for the second thing.
Yeah, best version of me, 8, 9 o'clock. That's when you're getting my most focus.
Yeah.
Anything
same.
after that, I'm starting to get hazy. That's when I want to see some crazy shit. I can't believe I'm seeing fever dream kind of shit. So let's for me, I like to put that good movie up front, bad movie in the back. If I'm doing a good bad movie double feature, that's how I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's from Vaccinated at Camp Blood. Vaccinated at Camp Blood.
Jeremy Jones.
That is Jeremy Jones. You're correct. You know these people.
Some of them.
How about Search Party Pics? They do want to know why your penis is so small.
Well, I asked myself that question.
Do you have a definitive? And also from at Douglas Wicker, which is also you. Why is your head so big? Why
Genetics
is that?
can answer both of those.
Why is that? I feel the same. I
don't have a hat.
I imagine if you put on a hat of mine, you would be like, it doesn't even touch my skull. I really look like a missing link. And then I've got another one here from another one of our listeners that says, how about what are some of your favorite in-camera effects?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, let's see.
That is from Caleb Richards.
One I geek out on a lot is I love Texas Switch. The Texas Switch is whenever you have, it doesn't matter what the camera's doing, but there can't be a cut, right? So whether the camera's dolling, whether it's craning, whatever, locked off, whatever the shot is.
Yeah.
The camera doesn't cut. But what you do is you have, basically the whole idea is that you're switching your main actor out for a stuntman at some point within the duration of that shot.
Yeah.
One that'll immediately hit some bells for you, Danny, is in, we'll say Hot Fuzz. He does in all three Cornetto movies.
I know every beat of Hot Fuzz.
Exactly. All three Cornetto movies have a Texas Switch in them, for sure. At least this shot is. But Hot Fuzz specifically is when he runs, jumps over the fence, then runs a little bit, and then you see the dude do a fucking somersault over the next fence and land. That is a Texas Switch. It's you're switching out that actor in the same shot and replacing him with a stuntman.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So those are always great. I love whenever, because when they're done really well, you don't even notice it. But it's it takes craft. You have to really plan that shit out. So I always appreciate that.
Yeah. That's good. As far as me, what are my favorite in-camera shots? I don't know. I don't know what they're called or what the names for them are.
You tell me what you've seen, and I'll try my best to guess what I think it is.
I tell you what I love. What is an in-camera shot? Because I will say a thing about I love about the Cornetto trilogy is how it does the fast like whooshing
Whip pans.
Whip pans. Yeah,
that's an in-camera effect. Yeah,
that's an in-camera
Yep.
effect. I love those. Yeah, no, that's a great way to bring me up to speed. You don't have to give me, like for instance, the Midnight Mass.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to give me 90 minutes of dialogue to show me that. You could accomplish that in 90 seconds with whip pans.
Have you seen La La Land?
I have not, actually.
Okay. It's not much of a spoiler, but there's a bit where Emma Stone's dancing and Ryan Gosling's playing piano.
Gosling's dancing, yeah.
Well, he's playing piano.
Her tits eat him. I've seen it. Yeah.
I would pay $100 to see the Mausoleum remake that features Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Me too, man. That'd be good.
I would literally be like, here's $100 right now. I want to watch, even if this is 15 minutes, I want this version.
Yeah.
But there's a part where he's playing piano, she's dancing. And the camera's whipping back and forth between the two of them.
Okay.
And for everything, looks like a whip pan. Like, which is usually like the reason we use a whip pans is a transition, right? To hide a cut. But in that movie, he's doing that shit, the operator, as he's fucking hitting every shot, and there is no whip pan. Like, it's whip panning, but there's no cut. They're not hiding anything.
Right.
It's just like the dude just fucking rocking the camera, like.
That's fucking
like,
cool.
yeah. Like, it's cool. Like,
I've seen a video on how that was shot.
Yeah.
Like, somebody was recording the cameraman recording it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks amazing.
Yeah,
like,
you're just like, why all that effort? Like, does it, instead of just locking off and shooting Gosling's parts, then shooting Emma Stone's parts and cutting with whip pans, instead this dude's fucking hitting the marks.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's still
you know,
cool.
like, yeah, it is cool. In fact, it's exceptional. I'm like, good job,
right?
dude. Good
How
job,
many
buddy.
times do you think they had to do a shot like
I
that?
have no idea. Imagine trying to do that for like fucking 6 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then say, reset. Take two. You know, it's like
break for lunch.
Yeah, come back and the fucking arms are all like stuck making that motion over and over.
We had all right, listen, I'm going to introduce we're going to do like a listener mail or reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Listener mail and reviews. By the way, if you do like this show, it helps us out tremendously if you leave a like or a review. It helps us out even more if you lie to your friends and tell them this is about whatever their favorite thing is. Like if you have a friend whose favorite thing is the Ocarina of Time, and you tell them
It's
that
just
it's
two
just two
ocarinas.
movies, tell them to, hey, listen to it's just two movies. I know it sounds crazy, but it's all about the Ocarina of Time. You'll love it.
If they have vegan,
and they
if
listen
they have
to
vegan
it,
pasta dishes,
that
they like.
also helps us out tremendously. And then especially if you put a gun at their head and tell them to leave a good review.
It's just two bullets.
It's just two good fun movie times. But so we'll do do you have a good like sound clip I can use for a listener? It's listener mail time. We have mail. It's mail bit.
Off the cuff, I want to do like a Cardi B sort of thing with the.
Do it.
But I don't know what to really like. That sounds not in mail.
No, that was great. I'm probably going to use that.
Mail.
You're like, I don't know if I'm going to use a. So I got an email here from a Mr. James Allen, and it says, "Hello, how are you doing? I would like to know if you are available for jiu-jitsu lessons. If yes, get back to me, ellipses. And also, where are you located? Thanks, Norman." So that's from James Allen.
Goes on a journey.
Right. To which I replied, "James, you clearly know a jiu-jitsu master when you hear one on a podcast. I am in fact available to train you in the ancient ways of jiu-jitsu. I personally trained Nicolas Cage and the kid from Karate Kid. Our training dojo, no shoes allowed, winky face, is actually located right down the street from you wherever you are. I don't know if you've seen Doctor Strange, but it's a magic whirly portal situation like that. Our training is quite rigorous, but the only out-of-pocket expenses you'll have to incur are purchasing your own training gi and a 4-pack of 16-ounce craft beers of your choosing. The lessons I instruct are purely for self-defense, and I would feel like an absolute piece of shit for taking money from anyone who just wants to protect themselves. I will, although, occasionally snake a... Hold on.
You wrote this, Danny.
No, I did. I will, although occasionally, snipe a beer off you while you're training. That is the only fee that I charge. In no time, you'll be screaming balls deep in a feral hog whilst firing a Desert Eagle 45mm into the air, as this is the first-degree white belt, rookie in layman's terms, training to be completed. We call it roping the hog, and no, there's not a literal rope involved. Anyway, glad you're excited to join, and I will have the nondescript black panel van scoop you up at our earliest convenience. Please make sure to turn in your updated 1099 tax form to your employer. As they obviously say in jiu-jitsu, crossed fingers, sign language love, metal fingers, high five. I used a bunch of hand gesture emojis. Regards, Daniel King. It's just 2 movies.
That's beautiful, Danny.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
that's
your
our
public service.
Yeah, that's our listener mail. That's our listener mail. If you email me about another stupid fucking thing, I will email you back.
Do you think he found your email because of the jiu-jitsu episode? It's a lot of effort,
I don't know.
Really. Like
It really
email
is.
you.
Yeah, it really
It
is.
is
Somebody put some
tangentially-
time into that.
Tangential, a little too many beers for some words. It's in the periphery of what that episode was.
Yeah.
So like he's on topic.
Pig and
whether-
jujitsu.
So maybe
I'm sure that is. I hope that is the general vibe for our listeners, that they're all like, what if I just email Danny stupid shit? Will he read it out on the podcast? Yes.
But I am curious
Yeah,
about
you betcha.
why
I will, because it gives me an opportunity to write a stupid fucking thing.
Why did Norman need to use James Allen's email?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Do you think maybe it's his grandpa and he's doesn't have email? He's kind of like,
I don't know,
James,
man.
can I borrow your email?
I don't know.
Dad, promise me you're not going to.
Some things I wonder if maybe I am James Allen.
Ooh.
Maybe I was actually born from the same genetic structure that feeds back billions of years into billions of years of evolution.
Oh no, guys!
And failure versus success.
He's midnight massing again.
Oh my god! He's midnight massing. That's what it's called. Anytime anybody ever fucking monologues on you, you just be like,
As long
oh my
as it's an
god.
existential monologue that I got like, we gotta pull him out of episode 6, guys.
That's it. Oh my god, he's episode 5 at midnight mass. I am enjoying it though. Like if they were like, hey, next week a second season of Midnight Mass comes out, I would still watch it.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure,
liking
yeah.
it, man.
Yeah. You and Bird talked about Malignant, didn't you?
No. So we are doing Malignant next week with my brother-in-law who loved it. He did End of Watch.
Yeah.
And like that episode.
Yeah.
He's a silly fucking
What's
bitch.
his name?
His name's William.
Okay, yeah, I remember that episode.
William, he's a silly fucking bitch. But he will like he'll reserve himself in order to like be more socially well, but after like 4 beers he's not.
Just sloppy.
You know what I mean?
Just
No, he's not.
Oh.
No, he's not sloppy. He's just fucking outrageous. Like
Yeah.
he's just an outrageous. Me and him have a lot of fun.
So he cuts loose, is what you're saying.
We're always on the same team when we play like Trivial Pursuit
Yeah.
or like any trivia game or anything where it's like you got to tell another person. Like if I was like
telekinetically be connected.
Cocktail, Top Gun.
Yeah.
Lead actor, Top Gun. Cocktail. Born on the 4th of July.
Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing that for real. I thought you were just
I know.
I was like, you just kept yelling cocktail at him? Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that's
and
what
why
he would
that
do.
Movie?
He would just say the things that I would know, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah,
Well, why
you guys
cocktail?
cheating."
Like Jerry Maguire, you know? It's like
Yeah. There's
The
tons
Interview
of
with the Vampire, the stuff he's done. Risky Business.
Cocktail. Absolutely, Cocktail.
He just keeps screaming cocktail.
Yeah.
The question's done and they're all moved on to other shit. Cocktail.
Oh my god. Did we give Mausoleum thumbs?
We did. We gave it.
We gave it
drippy,
drippy
gargle
thumbs.
titty thumbs.
That's all that I've got. Is there anything that you wanted to add to the rest of the Mausoleum? Again, if you're a fan of the show and you listen to this podcast, please do tell your friends about it. Word of the mouth remains to be the most effective advertising, blah, 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 blah.
Share
hand gesture motion.
Share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends, or, what are they going to do? Be like, listen to it and be like, that
Wait
podcast
till you're
sucks.
carpooling, man, and just fucking force it on them.
Yeah, you can tell them, you suck, and then you can put your Mausoleum titties on them. You'll love it. And they'll love the podcast, and they'll maybe watch some of these awful movies or good movies. That's what we're really here for.
Someone's got to watch the trash.
Yeah.
And you're just out there doing the Lord's work.
That's it.
Yeah.
Praise him.
Praise him.
Praise him.
Help Hyman.
Help Hyman. Help Hyman. 2 hours later.
Oh, what can we say?
If you're out there and you fucking wipe from back to front, what's your fucking problem? You know what I mean? Like, that's not okay.
Tell me.
What are you doing?
Tell me how that goes.
What are you doing with your life? No. Email me at itsjusttwomovies@gmail.com. I want to know what your fucking problem is. Because that's just not cool, man. No, nobody's down with that. Your old lady's not cool with that. If you're a lady, your old man's not down with that. Just fucking quit it. Nobody's cool with that. If you're a lady and your old lady, you have an old lady, she's not cool with that. If you're a man and you have an old man, he's not cool with that either. Doesn't matter what your situation is. I don't give a shit. But don't wipe from back to front. You fucking monster.
That's what I fucking planned on.
That's what I want to put on my epitaph. Like on my tombstone. Put that whole rant on my tombstone.
Oh.
So when people walk past my grave, they're like, what the fuck?
It's just like a big long ass fucking block.
Be huge. I'll have 3 tombstones put together.
It gives the length of your body.
Yeah. I'll be buried long, like
widthways.
Really
small.
I'll be buried widthways instead of long ways, and I'll have 3 tombstones, and that's what they'll say.
4 lots so that you can go.
No. I would rather just be thrown in the trash, just so it's a matter of public record. Just throw me in the garbage. I don't care.
They gave me a fucking headache.
Yeah.
Like, the best way.
You love it though.
You know when you laugh so hard you get a fucking headache?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you,
just
you
have
love
those.
it.
Oh god, yeah. No, well, Danny, I think you spoke for both of us on that one.
Yeah? Was it good for you?
I think, yeah. Go ahead and just CC me on that email.
Okay, it was good for you. It was good for me.
It's good for me.
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's all that gold talk! We're a one-eyed Batman!
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob, we don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin, businesses are booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
So like when you bend the thumb, it's like
That's pretty good.